Hello and welcome to ThePrint. Today we have with us the spokesperson of the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, Benoit Carpentier, to talk about the humanitarian crisis unfolding in Gaza, where food, water, and fuel is fast running out. Mr. Carpentier, the first question I would ask you is about the aid trucks that we have just seen enter Gaza yesterday, that is the 21st of October. Just 20 trucks, clearly that's not enough. And from what we're reading, fuel was not included in those aid supplies. Could you tell us why that is?
Fuel was not in the 20 trucks. For now, the aid that went through is food, water, and medical supplies. We're still in the negotiation for the fuel, which we see as vital as water and foods, because it runs obviously generators for the hospitals, for the power plants that are purifying water, which is one of the critical things that is missing at the moment in Gaza. So it's a vital item as well as the other ones. We're still in negotiation to see how that could happen as soon as possible. So 20 trucks was a very much welcome first wave of humanitarian aid, but we clearly this needs to be sustained to be able to meet the need. So we stand ready on both sides. Egyptian Red Crescent on the Egypt side of the border they've been working for days to coordinate all the aid that was arriving at the border from the Red Cross Red Crescent network, but also from many other agencies and different states. And on the other side with the Palestine Red Crescent, who's also on standby and has been yesterday working with different agencies, including the UN agencies, to be able to receive the aid and offload it from the trucks and start bringing it to the different warehouses in Gaza where it will be distributed.
Mr. Carpentier, would you say the blockage of food, water, and electricity amounts to collective punishment of sorts?
We focus on the humanitarian and the side of things, and really making sure that the civilians and also the people, even the health worker, aid workers that are inside Gaza, have the means to survive, because here we're talking about survival. So any convoy, any humanitarian aid that comes in a country needs to be done in a safe way. So that means there needs to be a stop, even temporary, in the fighting to be able to allow that aid to come in so that the civilians can come and fetch it depending on where it is, and for the aid workers to be able to do their job without risking their lives in distributing that aid.
You talked about aid workers risking their lives. Recently, earlier this week, we saw a UN agency delete a tweet about apparently fuel, medical kits were removed from a Gaza compound. Do these incidents happen frequently?
It's a very difficult conditions. As we say, we need civilian infrastructures, aid workers, hospitals under humanitarian law need to be protected at all times. So that's the responsibility of all parties in the conflict. So they're working under very critical conditions where, as I said, they're risking their lives every day to be able to help others. They've been receiving, the hospitals of the Palestine Red Crescent has been receiving several warnings, asking them, requesting them to leave the area, but they've refused to do so because they don't want to leave their patients behind. People that are in the hospitals, besides all the people that seeking refuge in the hospitals. Obviously, it's a hospital, so you have injured people, you have children, you have elderly, you have people in ICU. These people cannot be moved from where they are. So our teams from the Palestine Red Crescent are there to support them at the risk of their own life.
Do aid workers, at least from the IFRC, face intimidation from Hamas and other groups that are active in Gaza?
They carry on their work. They as I said, they've been asked to leave. They want to stay. They perform their duty as humanitarian workers. They are a neutral and impartial organization, as all of our Red Cross and Red Crescent societies around the world, and they will continue to do that. They've done that before for many years, for more than half a century in Gaza, they'll do it. They do it in every situation, whether it's a conflict or natural disaster. So that's their core mandate as a humanitarian organization in any country in the world.
Mm. And we've seen also countries as far away as India send a plane load of aid. We've been told that India has provided water purification tablets, among other life-saving medications. How do you see it?
So any support is obviously very much welcome, and yes, medical supplies, including water purification tablets. As I said, there's a massive shortage of water in the country, so people have started to drink water that they should not be drinking. So having purification tablets to be able to replace temporarily the purification plots that would need fuel and generators to be able to run, it's also crucial so that we avoid having a spread of diseases in Gaza. So medicines are critical. We've heard surgeons running operations and surgeries without anesthetics. People don't have anything to take care of themselves. So it's really the basic commodities for any kind of hospitals to be able to run almost normally.
We're seeing a lot of Western countries like the US and the UK pledge millions of dollars in aid. I mean, the Biden administration has just pledged over $100 million in aid to Gaza and the West Bank. But we're also seeing a lot of these countries, whether it's the US or the UK, abstain or vote against a UN resolution, draft resolution on a ceasefire. Does the IFRC see the ceasefire as an important step to tackling the current humanitarian crisis? And how does it see Western countries that don't seem to be vehemently in support of this?
As I said before, to be able to perform humanitarian duties in any context, we need to do it in a safe environment, and that would mean, in that case, having, as I said, temporarily stop in the fighting to be able to, for our teams, the Palestinian Crescent teams, to go on the ground and perform their duties. They're running they have more than 30 ambulances running all across Gaza to be able to help people wherever there's a need. When there's a constant shelling, that mission becomes very complicated and very dangerous. Same in the hospitals. So yes, I mean, having a stop in the fighting, even temporarily, to allow humanitarian workers to do their job, but also to allow aid to get inside the country, and for civilians to be able to access that aid safely is a critical thing to happen.
Would you like to see more international support for a ceasefire so that aid workers can do their job?
Any initiative to stop the fighting is obviously very much welcome. I think we all aim for as humanitarians.
Lastly, I wanted to ask you about the two hostages that Hamas released recently. They were two American hostages released on humanitarian grounds, and they were actually handed over to Red Cross aid workers. We keep seeing that Hamas did this on humanitarian grounds. Could you give us any details? Was one of the women ailing? What were these humanitarian grounds?
So this part of the hostage is being managed by our sister organization that is called the International Committee of the Red Cross. They're dealing with negotiation, not just in this conflict, but in any conflict in the world, in any situation where there will be hostages. They are negotiating with all parties to make sure that hostages are being released and safe. And so they will be able to give you much more information. It's a very sensitive topic, and very they have to operate in discrete ways to be able to make that happen as best as possible. So they are working with that. So I don't have the details on their operations at that stage.
Are you optimistic that we'll see more hostages released?
We have to be. Hope is what keeps us driving. So whether we always hope, but hope is the driver of everything we do. So we hope hostages will be released, and it's a plea that we've made. And as we hope that we will be able to provide assistance to the people that need it at the moment in Gaza as well.
Thank you, Benoit. I guess I just have one last question, non-Israel or Gaza Strip related. But we saw a devastating earthquake in Herat in Afghanistan, and we know that the Red Cross and the Red Crescent Society is also involved in humanitarian aid work there. Can you tell us what the situation is like there and whether it's getting back to normal anytime soon?
Yes, it's a very difficult situation there as well for complete different reasons. So, and they've been facing not just one earthquake, but actually a series of 5 or 6 major earthquakes within a period of a week to 10 days. So the population in that area is scared. Most of them are still living in the open because they are too scared to get back in the houses for those who still have a house. But a lot of houses have been whether damaged or completely collapsed. So we have teams on the ground from the Afghan Red Crescent, but also we are sending some other teams to support them and to provide them with the basic necessities. Again, that means shelter, to make sure they have some kind of a roof on top of their heads for those who have lost their houses, but also bringing them water and food, and then warm clothes and warm blankets to be able to sleep, not in the cold, but having some kind of with the winter coming. So yes, now the situation is absolutely not back to normal because you cannot reconstruct or rebuild or shelter people so fast. But we're working hard with our teams on the ground to make sure that at least people have the basic necessities.
Thank you so much, Benoit.
Pleasure. Thank you.